Blake, I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me on too. I've been wanting to have you on the pod too. I'm getting back in with the Hog Talk podcast too. So fun things going on around my world. It's crazy, crazy times, man. Just had her baby, 3 months old. She's
Congratulations.
my man.
Awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Fatherhood's grand, I tell you.
Well, there's a 2-year-old that's more than likely going to run in here, during the show at some point. So just distract him, and we'll continue to go. But it is awesome.
Sounds
Jacob, I want to get to this. You've been all over this Kendal Briles story. Look, Brett McMurphy reported that there was an offer. You came back right after and said that your sources had been telling you that Kendal Briles was not leaving Arkansas. Look, I know how this all goes down, but man, just take us through what's been happening over the last 72 hours with Kendal Briles, Arkansas, and Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it really goes on past the 24 hours. This has been going on since December 23rd, at least. That's when my timeline really started. So as far as the last 24 hours, I heard, okay, he's staying at Arkansas, and then Mario Cristobal came back and gave a heck of an offer. I mean, a offer that Kendall had to just absolutely refuse, and he did, which is a surprise to me. But that was really something that I was surprised by. As far as I thought he was going to leave. I thought he had a foot out the door and he was going to leave. And this morning about 7 o'clock, I had received a text from one of my guys that was really close to Kendal Briles' situation. He said Kendall's staying. After Mario came back, Sam and KB got together, had a little meeting, and he went back to Mario. From what I understood, he went back to Mario. Mario gave him a last-ditch effort, and he said no. So I don't know how much money. I don't know what the contract is going to be at Arkansas right now. But from what I understood, Miami was trying to give him a heck of a deal, trying to make him maybe the highest-paid coordinator or the highest-paid offensive coordinator in all of college football.
So, which would then, Jacob, entail that Arkansas obviously was doing things behind the scenes. Look, Sam Pittman and Hunter Yurachek were doing it with Barry Odom just a season ago, and it now looks like Kendal Briles is a little bit of the same. Jacob, do you think that Arkansas and Hunter Yurachek are making a statement with doing this? With keeping Kendal Briles? I mean, how big of a statement is this to not only keep Barry Odom when he was so highly touted a season ago, but now to keep Kendal Briles? And look, people fear Kendal. Let's just call it what it is. They don't want to see him on a given Saturday. But how big of a win, not just for Sam Pittman, but how big of a win, in your opinion, is this for Arkansas?
Oh, it's huge for Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas is set. I don't know what kind of season they're going to have in 2022, but this is the second big victory for this Arkansas football team this off season. And I think the big win is how they finished the season with the bowl win, and then they are keeping Kendal Briles, they're keeping Barry Odom, keeping the staff together intact for now. Going into next season's huge because I think Arkansas is set. I don't know if they're going to win a championship, but I think they can compete. I think they could be the Ole Miss of 2021. I think they can have a similar season, and they give me a reason to think that way because, I mean, yeah, you can look at it both ways. Arkansas could have been 5-7, 6-6, and they were a heck of a whole lot closer to 11-2. I mean, if the
Right.
ball bounces the right way. So, yeah, this Kendal Briles victory is huge. Keeping him at this point is great because you want to have that continuity on this team. This roster is set, and I think I forgot your second part of that question. I apologize.
But, no, it's good. Basically, just I mean, and I'll just add on to it from a fan perspective. I mean, what are the fans? I mean, I'm assuming it's something that they are really rallying behind since the last couple of years. I mean, look. Sam Pittman and that staff has really turned it around. I guess their reaction is pretty high praise for being able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, keeping them. Hunter Yurachek. Okay, I remember now. What I was going to say was Hunter Yurachek, he said he does not want money to be an issue for a coach wanting to leave the University of Arkansas, and he's showing that. Hunter Yurachek is making it a focus. He's serious about winning. He's making it serious about winning. And that's on every sport. I mean, he's got every sport, top-notch coaches, and he wants Arkansas to be a destination job. And the appeal of Miami, I've never been there, but I've seen pictures. Man, if I had money, if I had, I would absolutely rent $2 million and beachfront property. Heck yeah, man! I would have absolutely taken and run with it. But yeah, it makes a statement there saying, okay, 100-year checks and Sam Pittman's serious about this thing blowing up, and it obviously shows that Kendal has something invested in this team that wasn't that gave him a reason to want to stay, I believe.
Right. So, and look, I think that they could do some good things. I think Sam Pittman, Cody Kennedy, Kendal Briles, really good coaches. It's going to be really interesting to see what the guys that they have returning, what they'll do into 2022. But we won't get to that really too in depth tonight just because we got so much further to go. But I do want to talk to you about this LSU-Arkansas flip-flop, the trades that LSU and Arkansas really are doing. Arkansas gets Landon Jackson from LSU and Dwight McLaughlin, and then LSU gets, obviously, Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché. Very quickly, and then we'll go to Dwight McLaughlin and Landon Jackson. To the LSU fans, what are they getting in guys like Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché?
Greg Brooks is a guy that's quick, has some good hands. He's had a couple of interceptions, a guy that can outrun offenses on the way back down the field for pick sixes or long interception returns. A guy that plays the nickelback position really well. He knows his role, and he's a good team player. As far as Fouché goes, he's a guy that has a lot of dog in him. I love watching Fouché play. Barry Odom, what I love watching him do is when he would play that more of a 3-2-6 model of defense, he would always have an extra safety come down near the line of scrimmage. And Fouché had a lot of dog in him. He had quite a few tackles for a loss this season and a couple of important plays, especially in the bowl game against Penn State. We think about Texas A&M and the Texas games where Fouché was probably 3 or 4 yards away from Bijan Robinson on just some kind of end-around sweep. And Fouché jumped from 3 yards away to make a tackle on Bijan Robinson over there at Texas. I mean, the guy's super athletic. He wants it, and he wants to be successful. And I don't blame the guy. I mean, for wanting to leave and go back home and put it on a show for his state.
Right. Well, and look, now that you flip that, and then you go to Landon Jackson and Dwight McLaughlin. From the outside looking in, what are your thoughts about Dwight McLaughlin, who quite honestly has been LSU's best corner, some believe, over the last 2 years with the injury of Eli Ricks and Derek Stingley. Is this one of the bigger corners or best corners that that Arkansas has gotten in the portal or in recruiting over the last couple of years because of the prowess that Dwight has right now in the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember, though, Arkansas was in on Dwight McLaughlin for a while. I mean, they really were. But getting him is a big win out of the portal. This is one of the best transferred defenders that, in my memory, that we've ever gotten. I mean, I don't remember Arkansas ever having this much success in the portal with big name guys like Landon Jackson and Dwight. I think he's going to come in and start right away. Obviously, because they lose Monteric Brown out of from Arkansas in that secondary, who was a heck of a corner for us. I feel like I anticipate him to be a very solid player for Arkansas next season.
Speaking on both of those guys coming on defense, there were some guys kind of crazy, and I get maybe some of the Louisiana guys coming back. But Jacob, because I know the LSU issues and why the guys are going in the portal, why are some of the guys leaving on that defense from Arkansas and going to the portal? It was kind of an interesting thought of why a lot of those DBs left. Is there something to read into there, or is there or we from the outside looking in looking too much into it?
I think a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of freak out from Arkansas fans on the Arkansas side of it because you see so many defensive backs leave at one time. They're like, you think, oh, it has to be something about the coaches, or and it could be that the nature of college football and what have you done for me lately? You know, there's always certain things, and we saw it today with with the transfer of Andrew Parker, who surprised me because I thought he would be a contributor on this defense for this year. The transfer portal is just a crazy thing in college athletics, and I love it. I love just the cutthroat nature of what the transfer portal brings to college football. And seeing so many guys leave, and I've heard so many different things. And oh man, it was Sam Carter, the defensive back coach. That's why they left. Or oh, it had to be the NIL. It has to be NIL for the reason these guys are leaving. I don't think it's all NIL. It's absolutely not all NIL. Kids want to have a chance to go play and go star and ball out, and they want to be an important member of a team. You've played,
Right.
you know how it feels to have all the attention and stuff. And I think kids want to be a focus, and that's just my thought as far as the transfer portal goes. But Sam Carter, they said, oh, he was a hard coach, he was strict, he was just too hard on him. But even some of the players came out and said, hey, that's really not what it was.
Right. Uh-oh. Jacob, I think we lost you there, brother. Yep, Jacob, I think we lost you there. I'm going to let Jacob out, and then we'll let him back in. Jacob, if you can hear me, you kind of froze up there on us. We'll pick it back up with Jacob. Get to a couple of these comments. I saw Jimmy Jones say to us, he says, hashtag ask y'all, is it too early to talk about Arkansas and LSU baseball? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm really wondering if this cold weather is bringing some bad juju on our stream. Like I really, really wonder. I really do wonder, but we're trying. We're giving it hell. DeSaint says, I'm super pumped on YouTube. I'm super pumped about where this program is going. I am too. Jacob Cole, we'll leave this one for Jacob Davis when he returns. I think we might got him back. Jacob, it looks like we got you back, bud.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Okay, awesome. So kind of just picking back up when we're off, we had some question, man. They were asking if it's too early to talk about baseball season, but I'll give one more football question in before we talk about some baseball. Drew Sanders committing to Arkansas. Look, bro, I got to be honest, did not see that coming. I just didn't, for whatever reason, call me naive. Maybe I just wasn't following it close enough. What is Sam Pittman really doing in recruiting? Like, what is he hands-on in recruiting, or is he letting his coordinators and position coaches doing it, or has he been hands-on with guys like Drew Sanders and bring them into Arkansas?
So I think it's a whole team effort myself. The ability for this coaching staff, Sam Pittman didn't want a assistant on this staff. If you didn't put a primary focus on recruiting, he didn't want you to stick around. And you saw that last season when he sent some guys packing and brought some new blood in. He has guys that are serious about recruiting, serious about Arkansas, and guys that want to be here and recruit guys to this university. Drew Sanders surprised me too. I know he came and made Arkansas his first visit, which really surprised me. But the fact that Oklahoma and Texas couldn't really meet, because the guy was he lives like 2 hours away from Norman, Oklahoma.
Right.
Obviously, I thought, yeah, he's a shoo-in. Or we're going home to Texas. I mean, and being a starting linebacker there, the guy has the goods. It really surprised me, and it shows me that Arkansas's the way Arkansas's playing, the way this program is being rebuilt, and kids are starting to take notice of it, and it's making it to the point where, okay, maybe Arkansas's not getting the 5 stars or the highly ranked top 10 recruiting classes, but you can get those guys that are out of the transfer portal that can come in and play right away too. And I think it's a good blend of all that. And I think Sam Pittman is making a hands-on approach too when it does come to recruiting to a place where, okay, people even outside the state are starting to pay attention. Big-time transfers are starting to pay attention. we want to go play for that guy because everybody loves Sam Pittman from what I've heard.
Well, and what's crazy is that, I think that the SEC and the SEC fans are starting to pay more attention, right? Like, you landed Dwight Mclaughlin, you landed Drew Sanders, like, oh, shit, Kendal Briles stays. I think from a national standpoint, Jacob, and just, again, my opinion, people are going to start looking at Arkansas a little bit differently than they have in the past, and it's good to have that competition inside the SEC West because it's so deep. But I have made this statement before. The SEC West in football, in my opinion, or the SEC, is not as deep in football as it is in baseball. So I do want to ask you a baseball question here before we get out of here. What do you think, man? I mean, look, you got 7 teams or 6 teams in the top 10. The 4th best SEC West team is LSU, and they're ranked number 8th. I mean, this is kind of like a dog-eat-dog world in the SEC when it comes to baseball, but what are you expecting for Arkansas this year as they're ranked number 1 in the national polls?
Yeah, so it's either Omaha or bust, right? Or at least super regionals are bust. I mean, Arkansas is going to be deep. They have some good transfers coming in. They've got some stud freshmen coming in. And this is what's crazy is Dave Van Horn has recruited well every single year. And he's got guys that are just studs that are just riding the pine because you can only put, 10 guys out there on the field at one time.
Right.
But he's got to replace a lot of production. You can't replace a guy like Kevin Cox overnight. You can't replace a guy like Peyton Pallette who will miss the season, who's probably going to be your Friday night stud. Found out he had to have Tommy John this morning. So
crazy.
They're going to be missing him this season. So what are you going to be as far as what goes on the mound? You have a lot of unsung heroes on the mound starting this year. Arkansas is going to have to figure out what they have there. But obviously, outside of pitching, Arkansas has some pretty good. They're pretty deep at every single position. You have obviously you have not Benny Baseball, but Bob Moore. You have Jalen Battles. Man, you have so many good players that are on this team. I don't have the roster in front of me or the names in front of me, just going off straight memory.
Right.
But they have some pieces on this team that I think they could repeat as SEC champions again. Is it going to be regular season? Is it going to be the tournament? But, I mean, obviously, you look into years past, there's some – Arkansas can finish 3rd or 4th in the West and still get to Omaha. I mean, that's just how deep, like you said, the SEC is in baseball, and especially the SEC West. There's a legit. LSU's going to be good. Tennessee's going to be good. Ole Miss. You got Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. You have so many good teams in this league besides Arkansas. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, But I see Arkansas winning some games this year.
Absolutely. Last one, and I'll get you out of here. Do you think that Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitello would get in a MMA fighting match in a UFC and we do a pay-per-view to see what happens? They've had some very choice words. Would you pay $69.99 to watch Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitello go into it in an MMA cage?
Man, look, Tony Vitello, man, I would pay money for that. That guy would be kissing the feet of Dave Van Horn. Oh, man. Dave Van Horn, now he is no butt kisser at all, man. He will lay the smack down on somebody. I mean, he would absolutely manhandle Tony Vitello in a cage match.
Well, I would pay the $69.99 and I'd get a bottle of scotch and start watching it.
Oh, yeah, it would be fun.
Jacob, you've been awesome, man. I know you talked about the Hog Talk podcast. Great to have you back on there. But tell everybody where they can catch all your stuff and all and everything that you're doing. Yeah, man. So I'm the managing editor at Arkansas Fight, which you can find all our content at www.arkansasfight.com. You can also find a weekly podcast at the Hog Talk. That's HAWG, Hog Talk. And you can follow me on Twitter. At Jacob Scott Davis. And, I mean, you can follow me. You can not follow me. It's your choice. No, y'all need to go follow because my man's breaking news, major news across the SEC. Especially in the SECs. Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it, man. See ya. That is our good friend Jacob Davis. Absolutely awesome. Glad to hear him and what he talked about with Greg Brooks.